Absolutely, this is a realistic matter. What the French president said upon his visit to Egypt, particularly Al Arish and the hospital, clarified that there is actual need for stop the hostility and started a new phase of the ceasefire and the provision of treatment to the injured, along with the delivery of the humanitarian aid. What the whole world have witnessed to the French president to Egypt, that send real Velen messages upon he personally visited the hospital and the great magnitude of hundreds of the Palestinian, 100,000 of Palestinians, more than 100,000 Palestinians were treated by Egypt is an evidence of the great volume of effort practiced by Egypt. Other countries talked about having treated only 2,000. This only proves that Egypt is very supported and the Palestinian cause, the full support upon Macron's visit to Egypt is large, and I think that might change the world perception of what happened in the region and its impact on the possible delivery of the humanitarian aid. Secondly, to halt the hostilities and aggressions of the defenseless civilian people and to move forward onto executing the reconstruction of Gaza upon the that
Yes.
actually was cited of the outcomes of the Arab Summit hosted by Cairo.
Yes. So, sir, what about Trump's statements about the possibility of reaching a ceasefire agreement in Gaza? Do you have any comments on this statement?
Certainly, the French president's statement with respect to the Palestinian cause are very positive and benefit the Palestinian cause with respect to the future of Gaza and call upon the international community to have a larger scale of collaboration and in the meantime to reveal the facts for the civilians suffering in the West Bank and the Gaza, and there's a dire need of the entering of the humanitarian aid along with the medical crews. And I think the French stance is very supportive, direct the international community to what the halt of the aggressions and the entry of the humanitarian aid, and then start negotiations regarding the following the ceasefire and start a new phase.
Okay, well, now, the focus here was mainly on the Trump statement, but given the statement that Trump has said about a possible ceasefire, do you believe that Netanyahu's government may possibly agree to a new ceasefire proposal in Gaza?
Let me say, the American president unfortunately supported the Israeli stand for the impact with this regard to the Gaza specifically seems difficult, but the halt of the hostilities and the killing and without talking about the trisecting the Gaza Strip that may be easier. Talking about delivering humanitarian aid and a ceasefire, and I think that there's a lot weren't revealed during Netanyahu's visit to Washington. I do not think that resolutions were in favor of Netanyahu nor the occupiers, the Israeli occupations. But I think I may think that it was discussed, but wasn't publicly announced according to the U.S. Administration policy. I don't want to be pessimistic, but keeping only 1% of the possibility of having an influence with respect that the U.S. is the main player and main sponsor of the process, but talking about the ceasefire and maybe some sort of a positive, but changing the status quo or the two-state solution are non-starter, particularly with regard to the new U.S. administration.